Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say, is even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls. 'Cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every seam. It's the bigger love of the family.
Welcome in to Chief Talk. Oh, my phone. You gotta go mute my phone over there. Here, just cut the sound all the way down. We're starting off great. There we go. Welcome into Chief Talk, your lovely every Thursday night live stream here at Travelers Rest, South Carolina, the Bob Cigar Guy YouTube channel, and ChevetteReport.com. Your eyes do not deceive you. I have with me my mother.
Yay! Breaking news report.
It's going to be a show. That's for sure. It's gonna be a show. I keep getting coughed on. See how like see on the screen here how much room you have to move
How much room do you need?
that way?
I'm your mama. I have diapered your butt.
Yeah, 30 years ago.
How many years ago?
I would assume I was still in diapers at 2. My current 2-year-old is.
I mean, you potty trained pretty early.
But tonight we have a super awesome, fantastic show. We have the Dunbarton Lady Takeover. And before we bring on our esteemed Dunbarton Lady guest,
Breaking news. It is going to be the Cindy, Yvonne, and Sarah show.
You know, my mom contacted me before the show, and she was like, hey, what time do you want me to come up to the studio so we can talk about what I can and can't say? Hey, since you didn't come up until like 5 minutes before the show started, no more of that.
Don't talk
No
about
more. No more do. Okay, we're good with that. We don't need the do's.
Okay.
No more.
I did, however, ask you earlier, like, what if I go off the rails? You did not say anything to the contrary.
I'll be at the house in 35 minutes. Come on out when I get up there. You didn't come on out. But before we go any farther, I do want to give a big thank you to our sponsors of every Thursday night. We have Drew Estate, who produces Chief in the Leaves every single week. For Chief in the Leaves, we are going to be smoking. Obviously, we have the Dunbarton ladies on, so I broke out my Michelita Black Unicorn for tonight's show. I thought, what better time to smoke the Unicorn than with the two princesses of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust.
That would be Cindy Saka and Yvonne. Is it
okay?
Roland?
We're not bringing them on just a second. Just
hold
the horses. Hold your horses.
I can't hold them any
because
longer.
I have more than just one sponsor of the show.
Oh, okay.
Also sponsoring Chief Talk every single week is Zycar and Quality Importers, because Zycar is the leading cigar accessory brand.
I hold it up, but I don't see it on the...
Designing and marketing innovative products such as butane lighters, precision cigar cutters, travel cases, humidors, premium butane fuel, and humidification systems. Creator of the revolutionary and iconic XI cutter, Zycar products are sold in thousands of retail locations around the world. Use the coupon code CHIEFTALK all one word and capitalized.
Chief Talk.
For 15% off your order.
No measly 10%.
That's right.
15%.
At Zycar.com when you check out. So go head over to Zycar.com, pick out a color.
No, don't go there right now.
I mean, they can keep it up and open while they're doing this, but
they might miss something. If they blink, this is a one-stop town, buddy. You might miss it.
There's more than one stop in this town. Without further ado, the princesses of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. One Miss Cindy Saka and one Miss Yvonne Remy.
The princesses. Hello, ladies.
Hey, it's good to be here.
We're glad to have you. I am very glad to have you guys out here this evening. I say it like we're all sitting next to each other, even though I know we're not, but it's like we are. I don't
know. I enjoyed your whole intro there. I enjoyed just watching you two talk. That's pretty good.
That makes two people who enjoy
Welcome to Crazy Town, where there's one stop.
This is the mayor of Crazy Town. Welcome.
That is the first lady of Crazy Town. Thank you.
Still the same. We hold the same office.
What is it if we're in the crazy hospital?
So, since you don't smoke cigars, and Miss Cindy and Miss Yvonne do, before we jump into who you ladies are, I want to know, what are you ladies smoking this evening?
Oh, go ahead, Yvonne. I have Papa Saka.
Oh.
Yep. Look at that ash.
Look at that ash. Now, I have not released my top 10.
Cindy.
Stop!
Is Papa Saka's ash really that good?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
Right.
This is going to be a good night.
I don't know what your definition of good is, because I don't know if my definition also matches. So before we jump into Miss Cindy's cigar, I have not released my top 20 cigars of the year for 2023 yet. That is actually being shot tomorrow before the rainstorm comes. Can you chill, please?
We're 11 days into 2024.
Yes, we are. My goodness. Papa Saka is in my top 3. I will not release where Papa Saka is in my top 3, but Papa Saka is in my top 3 for 2023. That video is getting shot tomorrow and probably released either Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. Now, Miss Cindy, what are you smoking this evening?
I'm smoking the Red Meat Lovers ribeye.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this required a good steak.
Fantastic. Now, are these cigars for the both of you ladies? Are these cigars that you guys produce that you find yourself going back to more often? Are these cigars that you saved for a special occasion for Chief Talk? What went into the psyche of deciding these cigars as I light up my cigar?
For me, it was because this is one of our, it's not really a new release. It's been around a few years. Let's see if I can show it this way. Right there's my camera. So it started out as not exactly a store exclusive, but only one store was selling it. So this year they wanted to go nationwide. So now it's available everywhere. So if you don't see it on the shelves at your local purveyor, ask them for it. Did you drop that, Ash?
I did.
You dropped it like it's hot.
I hope you didn't burn a hole in that sweater.
You know what I would have told Bob? Rookie mistake. But you know what? I have no room to say stuff like that because I don't smoke.
Yeah, what cigar are you smoking this evening?
Why, I've brought my genuine pink Yeti tumbler that I did not spend $545 for at Target.
We need
do
some
have
stickers on there.
That's true.
She does. The unicorn sticker would look really, really good on there.
Does the unicorn sticker look like a unicorn?
Yeah.
Well, you have to ask Dad. Okay.
Are we talking the chubby unicorn?
No,
thing?
please
What are we
stop.
talking about?
Okay.
What are we talking about
This
here?
is why we do the hey, come up here before the show starts kind of sort
Oh,
of
my
thing.
bad.
So we have the ability to talk about these kind of things.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So
So
you get some
since
stickers.
What'd you say, Miss Cindy?
We will make sure you get some stickers.
Okay.
oh
I did have my sticker had some sticker envy the other day when you put your post up and you had the picture of the Bob the Cigar Guy and then the Chief one, and I was like, "But where's my sticker?" So then I posted it. I like stickers.
I do too.
Bob the Cigar Guy is watching from inside the house, and he says that the sticker is over on his computer, so it's the
What am I-
far left, the one with the unicorn on it.
Oh well, I'm looking at the rhino with the horn.
That's not it. So
It looks like a gun.
now we do have that. It's one past the rifle.
Oh.
We do have a ton of people in here watching already. 24 people on YouTube, 3 people on Facebook, and we've had many likes over on Facebook. Thank you guys for the likes. But we do want to give a big shout out to everybody who is watching, tuning in to come and see you ladies. We are above average on viewership for the stream, so the fame and the pull of the Dunbarton ladies is definitely in effect this evening.
I must say though, for banker John, who said you might need some psychiatric counseling later.
Yeah, no, it's right here. Yeah, I'm going. I don't think this is going to be my last glass of bourbon this evening.
It's first though.
This is my first. It might not be my last. Now, I do want to ask everybody who's watching, what are you guys smoking? What are you ladies smoking? What are you guys and ladies drinking? Now, Miss Yvonne, Miss Cindy, did you guys pair your cigars with anything this evening, or are you just going cigar only?
Coffee.
Okay.
Coffee
Is
with
it
a shot of espresso.
I can't drink. I'll crash my car on the way home. So
Definitely
that.
don't do that. We don't want that. No, we could just call Steve, be the DD, come pick you up. I'm sure he'd love to see Miss Cindy, drink a little bit and then have to come pick her up from the shop and wonder what damage was done on the Chief Talk Live. So my first question that I want to jump in with you two. And we'll start with Miss Cindy and then Miss Yvonne. If you'd like to follow after her, that would be great. First off, how long have you been smoking cigars?
I had my first puff on a cigar when I was about 3. My dad was a big cigar smoker, so back in those days, it was cute, let's see the little kid take a puff. And but he smoked my whole childhood, so it was not anything new to me. But he smoked cheap stuff. He was always smoking the corner store cigars. And then Steve, I think I started smoking when Steve got to Drew Estate and was blending his own cigars because he's a master at it. He makes good stuff. And so I used to smoke a lot of those. And once he started this, then I really took off because it's part of the job. We get to smoke cigars in our office on a daily basis, and it's just kind of fun. So
Are you guys also quality control?
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
And you go, wait a minute, I'm not sure if that really looks right. I need to taste that.
Well, I did have a test blend that I couldn't finish, and it was really, really good. So I'm kind of peeved that I didn't get to finish it. But yeah, we get to taste cigars sometimes that are test blends, which is kind of fun, So, but Yvonne's got that Papa Swaka there. So tell them about your experience smoking when you first started.
Oh, gee. I've really been smoking for about 10 years now. Just, I grew up in Hollywood, Florida, on the beach, and I would always turn when people would walk by when they were smoking a cigar. I just have always loved the way the cigar smells. So it just kind of seems like a natural progression that I ended up here. So,
When you smoked your first cigar, was it everything that you expected it to be, or was there something that you were like, maybe I was expecting something different, in a good way or a bad way?
Not really. I was always, when Steve was working, he was always like, have a puff. And so it wasn't like it just sort of happened. So what I didn't expect, I think, was the camaraderie and all the people that you meet when you go out there. Everybody's great. You got such wonderful people out there, guys and ladies. And you just have so much fun meeting those people and connecting with those people. That's one of the best parts about it. I always saw it as something you did by yourself, and it's not at all.
Absolutely. That's my favorite thing my favorite part of the whole entire cigar experience is that it's not something that you have to do by yourself. My most favorite memories smoking cigars are all surrounded by other cigar smokers, whether it be at an event or at a lounge, just hanging out, or smoking with a dear buddy of mine every week. When we built a lounge out of his house last year, and every week we go out and we just have bro time and we smoke cigars, and that's one of the greatest things. And then I always say, and I know a lot of people also say this, but cigars being, the greatest playing field leveler. Where you can have somebody who is smoking, the unicorns, or you can have somebody who's smoking the $2 rolls on the bottom shelf, and they can enjoy each other's time together. They can enjoy smoking together, and they're from two different tax brackets with maybe a few tax brackets in between, but that common denominator of coming together through the smoke. That's my favorite thing about this whole entire industry. And my wife, who can't stand cigars at all, hates them to death, but she loves that I love them, loves that I have had so many opportunities with people across the country. I would say across the world, but I've only been to Nicaragua once for cigars, so I want to go a couple more times before I can really say across the world. But I've been able to make great relationships with people just through cigars, and I think that's the single greatest thing about cigars for me.
I would say, breaking news, everybody!
My dad said.
Not like breaking news. That sounded like a eulogy.
Yeah, it sounded like I'm losing control of my Thursday night show.
I can't wait till your dad pops up on the window.
My dad pops up on the window.
Yeah, we could poke at each other and kiss across the screen.
He's not coming on the show.
Oh no! You just broke my heart.
No, he's not here for the show. This is the Dunbarton Girls and First Lady show.
The DTT Takeover.
Hosted by Chief and Chief Talk.
The DTTT.
All right, so getting into more questions for this one's more for Miss Cindy. When Steve approached you about getting into cigars originally, right? What was your immediate thought, and has your immediate thought changed since then?
When he first got into cigars, he was doing a website from a long time ago called Cigar Nexus, and he was having a lot of fun with it. So, it's like, well, go ahead, have fun with it. And that turned into a whole bunch of other things. He had these things in Little Havana Cigar Tour. He had people coming in from all over the country, and they would go all over Miami. And it was fun to help him put that together. I didn't go to these things, but I know they had a lot of fun. So they went to Miami for a weekend and had a great time. Then he started doing these bigger things called Boondoggle out in Las Vegas. And I did get to go to some of those, and they were a lot of fun. Then he moved on to Drew Estate, and he said, what do you think of this? And he said, I think if you don't do it, you will always wonder, what if? And what if I had done that? And So when he had the chance, he jumped at it, and it just kind of progressed from there. But when we started this business, I had a lot of questions because it was like, who's going to do the accounting? And he said, well, you are. I don't do accounting. I'm bad at math. I'm just bad at it, but I learned how to do it. And then the other thing I said to him is, who's going to sell these cigars? And he said, well, you are. I'm like, I can't even sell Girl Scout cookies when I was a kid. So why would I be the salesperson? But I had to learn. And now we have a team. We are about to hire our 10th employee. And so it's been going great. You know, everybody's like, oh, you're great and wonderful, but I have a really excellent team. Everything is like a well-oiled machine. Sure, we have snafus in here and there, but you know, we actually just had a UPS like a review, and they said that our warehouse does not have a lot of issues when they ship for UPS, and they really like that. So, you know, we're really pretty good at what we do. You know, Steve's amazing at what he does with making the cigars, and then our side is to sell them and make sure that they get out there in the hands of our consumers. And that's what we do. And we like to do it well. Our customer service is top notch, and everybody here wears many hats, but we all work together really well as a team. So that's part of what, how we just sort of morphed from this old website into this really kind of neat niche industry where we're actually succeeding. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys are doing really well. Now, I say that from the outside looking in, you know, being able to, but it's, I think it's a little easier to gauge, at least from my end, to see on Instagram how many people post Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust products, to see shops like Smoke Inn, or with Ronnie with the Golden Child just recently, and how fast product sells out for you guys. You know, that has to be some sort of earmark for success. I know that obviously I don't see the numbers that you guys get to see, and you have all your metrics that you truly gauge things off of. But if I had to have guessed before you said any of that, I would have said that you guys are probably doing really well. Excited to hear that you guys are adding another team member into the fold, which means that you guys are probably growing, which is beautiful.
Is that your part, Yvonne? Are you HR? What do you do with Miss Dunbarton?
What do I do?
What do you do?
What doesn't she do?
Well, you know, like Cindy says, we do wear many hats here, and you know, we're truly a team. Primarily, I sell. You know, I work with reps around the country, the brokers that are out in the different areas, and I help them as they're going into the shops, you know, and get the product out to them, process it, and get it out the door. So
you get to talk to lots of people all day long.
I do, and I like to talk.
Me too.
No.
My job is I listen to everybody talk all day. So when I come on shows like Chief Talk, I take the opportunity to talk.
You do. And you do a great job at seizing your opportunity.
Well, I mean, somebody has to do that for me, because I have two men in the industry who are seizing their own opportunities. Mm-hmm. Did you see how I just transitioned into men in the industry? Yeah. Because I really want to ask Cindy and Yvonne, like, what is it like in the cigar industry? Because you guys are actually players. I sit back and I just, you know, bask in the sun rays that shine upon Stephen and his dad, and I bring the silly to the party. But like, what is it really like for you women in the industry to be there?
It's kind of tough because there are a lot more women in this industry than people realize. There's a lot of women, many shops are owned by women, and they're run by couples. So there's a lot more women out there in the industry than I think people realize. And maybe we just get to have a voice. You know, we're out there talking to people and doing things, going to events and hosting events. And sometimes we do that together. It's not always about Steve and Dave. Sometimes it's the Dunbarton girls and we show up and we do our thing. And it's a lot of fun. The people we meet are great. We just have a ball with it. So I think the prominence of women, they've always been in this industry, but we've been hiding, because the guys, they're out there, they're doing their thing. And it's always the guy that's the owner, the brand owner. There are even some women brand owners out there. So you just have to be aware that they're there. And so if we can be a voice to that and shine a light on it, that's awesome. We'd like to do that.
Yeah. I can say, like, one of the things that you had said earlier about the whole camaraderie thing, because I don't smoke. And so not only am I like a female in the male kind of area, but I don't smoke the cigars. But one of the things that I've always said here on Chief Talk and the things that I've said to Bob and Steven are like, the people of the cigar industry are super welcoming. Bob and I went to a Halloween party at one of our local shops. And, I go in there and I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. But it really ends up being an enjoyable thing because the ladies who come out with their husbands or boyfriends or brothers, they come out and they walk up to you like, hey, I'm so-and-so, how are you doing? It's not like any grouping of people that I've been, familiarized with before. That this really is a kind of special niche group.
And it's so much fun. I mean, just to learn about what other people do in their lives, and sometimes like you're interviewing us right now. We'll turn the tables. I want to find out about what you do. What's your life like? And that's kind of key to the whole camaraderie thing, is that we have, like Chief said, you go into a shop or an event, it's kind of a level playing field, and the doctor and the construction worker can both sit next to each other, have a cigar, have a conversation, and they're just friendly. There's no, I'm better than you, or, oh, he's such a snob. That just, very rarely do you, there's always one, but very rarely do you have to meet those people. And thank you, Matt. That was a kind comment. Appreciate it.
Now, speaking of women in the industry, it would not be wise of me to skip over the fact that our good friends, mine and Dad, because we know them, but Jason and Rebecca Falkenberg, who run Ash Quarterly, you were just recognized as Woman of the Year in the cigar industry.
Hey!
I honestly, I'm flattered beyond, I don't know how it happens, honest to God. If someday I'm going to wake up, I'm going to be president of the United States and I won't know how it happened. I'll just be like oblivious.
Heck yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
But it's, it's a nice honor. It really is that people recognize what we do, and that it's not just Steve. It's not, he works damn hard. He works really, really hard. But, there's a team behind him, and that's kind of, where it comes in. But it's very flattering. It's honor. It's a nice honor. I don't know exactly what I do with it though. Like, what am I supposed to take with that? But
you gotta frame that puppy and put it on the wall.
You gotta find a spot in Steve's humidor and just put it in the middle of his humidor where he has to walk past it and see that you are indeed Woman of the Year, and he can't give you any crap for a year.
Well, it's really funny. He didn't get Man of the Year, so hey.
Hey, whoa! Who's the real head of DTT?
Yeah.
Now, Miss Yvonne, you said that you've been smoking for around 10 years, right?
Yeah.
What was it that hooked you with Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust? What got you in with DTT?
Well, I,
If it's not too invasive. If it is, just say.
no, it's not. It's actually a kind of neat story, actually, I think. I I was a soccer fan. I loved the league of number 9. I was living in Atlanta, had made the decision that I wanted to move back to New England, but Steve was going around the Atlanta area promoting Dunbarton, and he was at a shop that I frequented. So I went to the event, and he and I just started talking, and well, here I am. So I don't know. It's kind of pretty neat, though.
That is a good question though, because like I I would say like it takes guts to like just kind of go up and insert yourself into an industry that you're just like a fan of.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love cigars. I mean, and I obviously love our cigars, but there's a lot of great cigars out there. So I truly enjoy smoking cigars. I like the experience of smoking the cigars. I like the experience of being at a shop and with a group of people and talking to them. That's just, it just encompasses everything. So I don't know. It's just, I consider myself incredibly fortunate, and timing was amazing. I was the fourth
one of you.
I was the fourth employee.
She's number 4.
Yeah, I'm number 4. I say that a lot. I'm number 4. I'm number 4.
Do either one of you
family member? So hey,
the non-family member, is that what you said?
I was the first one that wasn't in the family. Now I'm in the family, like honorary.
I hear the mob boss. You're part of the family now. Now, do either one of you, independently or together, go to cigar shops and into the like humidor and just like act like you don't know what you're doing?
Oh no. No, although years ago I would walk into a humidor and to a shop, go in the humidor, start looking around, and they always tried to sell me something really expensive. And it's like, my husband doesn't like that cigar. I want that one for him. Or now I'll go in and I'll say, hey, do you have this? And they'll be shocked, like, you really want that? You know what you're asking? So yeah, I don't think I don't know. You might go in and pretend you don't know what you're doing.
I don't pretend. No. I don't know what I'm doing. It's so funny because there are times when I'm like, I want to buy them cigars or something cigar related, but I know that they have so much, and I feel like if I go buy them anything, I'm going to be like, I don't know what I'm doing. And they would be gracious and be like, oh, thanks, Mom. And I feel like, I'm not too good. But I think that's true. That I have a friend who speaks Spanish, and I love to go to like Mexican restaurants with her because she doesn't look like she speaks Spanish. And then all of a sudden she will just like break out and speak in Spanish, and people are like,
yeah. Don't speak Spanish behind her back, turn around and she'll pull that on you. No, Yvonne's story is a little bit, she really truncated that because we waited for her. I knew we needed somebody. I knew we needed somebody. And I had known Yvonne from the internet. We have a mutual friend here in New Hampshire. So I kind of knew her from Facebook. And Steve said, hey, I met this woman and this is her. And I said, oh yeah, I know who she is. And he's like, really? So yeah, let's have her come up. And we talked on the phone quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And she just wasn't quite ready because the logistics of moving up here, it's not easy. So she was like, I can't get there. You can go ahead and hire somebody else. I'm like, no, I want you. You come up and help us. So she is right. She is the first one outside of the family. So it was just my son and I working the office and warehouse, and Steve doing all the other stuff. And Yvonne came in, and we were able to grow because Yvonne came, because if she hadn't, I couldn't handle all the customers myself. It was too much. So, and at the time I was doing the bookkeeping still. So we now have a finance manager that does that. So I don't have to do that anymore. And we have another salesperson on our team that helps out. And we have a couple other people that can help. So they just kind of help when we need them to. So especially our Spanish speaking one, you know, for the people that we can't speak to, because our Spanish is not there. So,
No, I'm not Espanol.
yeah, no. So we always put her on all the tough to understand customers because she figures it out. So, but
Now that's your daughter-in-law, right?
yeah, my daughter-in-law, she's in Nicaragua right now, or she would have joined us. But
We would have had the full trifecta of the Dunbarton gals.
well, interesting thing is that we have Dave and we have Steve. Dave does not work here in our office. He's in New York, and Steve is here. He sometimes works at home, sometimes he's in the office. Other than that, the only male employee we have is in our warehouse. We have one guy. Everybody else is female.
Oh, there you go.
It's a very female-centric company, and we just do our jobs, and that's kind of all I can.
Hey, that might be the key to success.
Yeah, and we have a great time. We have, you know, it's a good family. Sometimes we do stuff together, and it's a lot of fun. So there are days when we want to tear our hair out, but for the most part, you know, it's a lot of fun. We get to
Obviously not Steve though, right?
no,
No hair to tear. So I do have I will take questions from our viewers every once in a while, and I'm trying to figure. There it is. Somebody we all know and love very well.
Yeah.
The dirty rat himself, Mr. Chris Duque, says, question for Sister Cindy. Does Steve have a habit that really drives you crazy? And Miss Yvonne, if you're comfortable enough answering that too, you can answer that as well. But if it's going to affect the paycheck, don't answer it.
We have one that the whole office drives us crazy, and that is he will announce something on Facebook before we know it.
Oh.
And then people will call in and say, "Hey, Steve just said," and I'm like, "Well, what?" I have to get on Facebook to find out what our company is doing. That drives all of us nuts. On a personal level, Steve's an insomniac, so it drives me crazy that he doesn't go to bed when he should, and he'll be up late on his iPad or his phone in bed while he's trying to fall asleep, and I'm trying to sleep. So sometimes that gets annoying, but his biggest thing is that he announces stuff online, and we're just like, I don't know what's going on. Right. So, and we joke about it, but it's 100% true. He will get on there and say, "Hey, here comes this cigar." Wait a minute, we don't know anything about this.
We haven't taste tested that one yet. What are you talking about?
We don't have any info. We don't know how much it costs. We don't know what size it is. We know nothing. And he'll pop it out there, and we're like, "Oh, okay." So that's the big annoying habit, I think. I don't know. What about you? Does anything bug you about him? Now's your chance.
No, but that is what bugs me, because you can always tell when something happens, because I mean, our phone rings pretty consistently, but all of a sudden it just goes bonkers and messages start popping up, and we all go, "Oh no, what happened? What happened? What happened?"
Somebody hop on the internet. Tell us what's going on.
I have actually said to people, "What did he write? What, you tell me what he wrote," you know? So yeah, that is a little frustrating, but it is what it is. You know, you can't say it's boring around here. You never know what's going to happen, you know? So
the flip side to that is if you ever got to a point where all of a sudden the phone calls weren't coming anymore, it's like, oh no, we missed the days where we had all the phone calls. But it's like a darn if you do, darn if you don't, 6 of one, half dozen the other kind of sort of situation. No, I share that sentiment. I share that sentiment. I don't know if you heard the groan from the guy behind the computer at the moment, but Bob the Cigar Guy is also terrible at that same
So
exact
not true.
Bob the Cigar Guy and I will have long conversations about things or projects or just ideas about things that I say, hey, I'm just thinking about this. I'm not really wanting to do this yet. And then all of a sudden, somebody messages me on Facebook and says, hey, when you guys coming out with that T-shirt? And that's what it used to be, was T-shirts for a while, because Dad had this kick where he wanted to do a T-shirt for like every third saying he came out with, because Dad is like the king of sayings in the cigar industry. He's got like a bag and a half of tricks, things that he likes to pull out and say. I don't know if it's things he learned in the military, just applies to cigars or what.
That's a T-shirt. I got a bag and a half of tricks.
Thank you, Forrest Gump.
So, speaking of T-shirts, the best one is the First Lady's T-shirt.
Hey, you got one of those, didn't you?
I do. I wear a lot.
We should have coordinated before this and worn our shirts together.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a little chilly here.
But Miss Yvonne doesn't have one, so
That's true. Hey, I don't have one.
So we'll have to.
True.
So when Dad and I are in Vegas in a couple months, we'll have to make sure that we bring Miss Yvonne her own T-shirt to match.
I've worn them all.
We'll have to get another one.
We better take that up with Bob the Cigar Guy.
It's
He's my
It's in the budget. It's in the budget. Look, Dunbarton Tobacco.
I would be honored for the Dunbarton girls to wear my T-shirt. I would be a fangirl being like, oh my God, I'm geeking out right now.
So Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust generously sponsors our Sunday show, the 5 minutes with Bobby and Squatchy. I actually put the big Squatchy back here behind me. You can't see him half the show because I'm having to lean over like this because my mom won't quit leaning on and coughing on me. But yeah, I think in the sponsorship
you should
budget,
love your mom more.
I do. I think in our sponsorship budget from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust for that we can eke out a T-shirt.
We can eke out a T-shirt.
We can eke out a T-shirt.
Look, those T-shirts are gold because the only other person besides myself who has one is Miss Cindy Saka.
And I do love it. It's a soft T-shirt. It's a really good T-shirt. It's nice and cozy, soft. So today was like, it was a little chilly outside, so I'm like, I gotta wear a sweater. Yeah,
me too. I actually am wearing, I think, one of my very first lady shirts.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
It's the older logo that's got Bob the Cigar Guy approved on it, and it says First Lady in the middle.
We got it.
Nice.
Yeah, I had it made at a flea market one day. I was pressing T-shirts, and we were like, hey, can you make me one? But on the back. Wait a minute. I got to turn around. On the back.
Whoa.
Oh, look at that.
Right?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I've told my fandom, which is about this many people, maybe this many. They need to try out for more First Lady products.
No.
You hear crickets, right?
I like the shirt. It's really cute. I love and like I said, it's nice and cozy, so I like wearing it. So
I'm glad. That's awesome.
Now, Miss Cindy alluded to the weather a little bit, and that kind of segues into a question I had for Miss Yvonne. Just a couple days ago, you posted over on Facebook how you were rethinking maybe a little bit of sanity in having to move from like the climate of Hollywood, Florida, or maybe even Atlanta to the New England area. Have you adapted? And if not, do you ever expect to?
Oh, I have adapted, and I do actually really like it. It's just, it starts snowing and it starts really snowing, and I start thinking, you know what? I grew up where I could walk out on the beach sand, this is so different. I mean, I will tell you, when I first moved, truthfully, I moved up to New England 20 years ago. And my daughter and I learned to drive in the snow at the same time. It was kind of a disaster, but we made it. But I like New England a lot. I am very comfortable here. So I'm very happy with my life here. I do miss Florida. I miss the beach. I'm a beach girl. That's always going to be the way it is. So it just is what it is. So when it gets crazy with the weather, I start going, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I need the beach. I need the sun, whatever.
But
So-
you do get to benefit from the non-scorching summers, I imagine.
That's true. But again, see, for me, Florida, that's all I was used to for years because I literally grew up there. That's the way. I mean, the first time I saw snow, I was in my 40s. I mean, and I'm like this nerd, like, oh my God, look, this is what snow is. It just was something wild for me to even imagine in my mind because I just wasn't around it. So
now all the New Hampshire snows are making sure that like they're dumping enough snow for you to have an average of your lifespan to say, oh, I only had a couple inches, right? And,
Are you calling her old?
no, absolutely not.
Did you just call her
It
old?
snows in Florida, maybe not Hollywood, Florida, but it snows in Florida sometimes.
So, Cindy, where are you from? Like, where were you born?
I grew up in Pennsylvania, in eastern Pennsylvania, so just north of Philadelphia. And so, like I said, there's a lot of stuff down there that grow tobacco there. And so, I'm not like, I didn't go to cigar shops with my dad. He was a drugstore buyer, so he would get all those old El Productos and stuff like that. So when Steve got in the business, then he started smoking real cigars. And so I like New Hampshire because it's just I feel comfortable here. The people here are really nice and they're down to earth. We don't get any of that pretentious stuff that you have in Miami. Miami can be very pretentious. And we have, where I grew up is very different now because it's a lot of New York and New Jersey folks have moved in and the traffic is terrible. I could never go back. This is just way nicer. Hi, Matt. I like Pennsylvania, but I couldn't live there in that eastern seaboard kind of section because it's just everybody just is so congested there. And it's expensive. It's not nearly as expensive here. So.
Now, is New Hampshire, is that like where all the covered...
Hold on. Let me help remove the foot out of my mouth for just a second. What I was alluding to was that Miss Yvonne is going to have a very long life. A very long life.
There it is. There it is.
Peace, prosperity, and a very long life. All right, sorry. Foot removed from mouth. Go ahead.
Is New Hampshire where like the covered bridges that's the Bridges of Madison County kind of movie? Like, do they have that kind of picturesque stuff?
Yeah. Steve and I were driving through our town, which is Dunbarton. It's a tiny little town of about less than 3,000 people. It's small. And we really don't have any commercial activity, a little bit, but we were driving through we call it the village. And there's a gazebo and an old meeting house, which is now the library. And as we were driving through, the garden club's out working in the garden beds, and the Girl Scout troop is at the end of one end of the common, and they're there taking their little pledge and everything. And it was just very Norman Rockwell. Oh. And that's kind of, Steve and I are now on this journey. We started last year. We're going to be on this little journey of checking out every ice cream place in New Hampshire. It's actually called the Ice Cream Trail. So we'll get out in our little car. We'll go out and go get ice cream every Saturday or Sunday whenever we have time when it's nice. So
now, do you plan to get the same flavor at different ice cream shops or different flavors?
A lot of times we do the same flavor so we can compare. So
what is your go-to ice cream flavor?
Black raspberry.
Oh,
yeah. I wouldn't see. I'm a butter pecan girl.
Well, that's such a Southern thing.
And you see, I said it right. Pecan, not pecan.
Well, I say pecan. So
I mean, I just shortened the P.
Yeah. Okay.
Yvonne, if you were an ice cream flavor, what flavor would you be?
I'm boring. I like vanilla.
Oh, That's traditional.
See, I'm an old-fashioned vanilla fan.
comfort.
I like the vanilla bean vanilla. That's my favorite ice cream.
That's good. That's good. I like it with chocolate sprinkles on it, though. There's a company up here that makes one that's called Just Sprinkles or something like that. And it's perfect because the sprinkles are all like rolled up in it. It's great. That's what I have all the time.
Now I feel like I know we have a donut connoisseur in the chat through Chris 2K, but
I love
wonder-
to see his what's in the box.
I would wonder what flavor Chris 2K would be, because you guys do a lot of work with Chris. You know,
We
Chris
do.
Comes to he was just at the event. What was it in December that you guys were over at Secreto Cigar Bar?
Yeah. He's actually, he and his wife are good friends with Ronnie and his wife,
Yes.
and so they came out to that event, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, they're lovely people.
Chris and Trish are really sweet. I love it. When I got to go with Bob and Steven to Las Vegas this last time, they had to work, and I got to go with Shannon. We got to sightsee, but we saw them on the
Shanna's my wife.
In the casino.
Yes.
And they just walk up and they're like, "Hey!" And I'm like, "Oh, I love you guys." They're
Yeah.
always so friendly.
Oh,
So like it's like opening a present on Christmas Day kind of thing when you get together with them.
So the worst thing about Chris is he always sends us chocolate and cookies.
Yeah.
That's
No,
the
but
worst
hold on.
thing about Chris.
So bad.
Cindy, be honest. Those cookies from Hawaii, those little cookies.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
my God, they are so good.
they're good with coffee. Just to have a few cookies in the afternoon. You have your little coffee break and have a couple of cookies. They're
I think we actually fought over the candy.
Well, no.
When we-
So when we saw Chris, because we interviewed Steve on the first day. I think he was our third or our fourth interview for the show, because this last year 2023 was our first year ever at the trade show, and so we definitely wanted to make sure that we booked the time slot with Steve. Steve was great. He put out on Facebook, "Hey, if you want to meet me, you want to interview me, you want to talk with me at PCA, here's my schedule. Go ahead and book." And I said, "Okay, let me go book as quick as possible." And when we showed up, Steve was wrapping up with Tim Swanson with Cigars Daily. And so we got to hang out with Chris, and he handed us a box of the chocolates. So we didn't have any time to eat them on the floor. Got back to the hotel, emptied out all of our cigars out of our pockets and our bags, put everything down, changed our clothes, and went out to dinner. Well, the next day when we came back up after being on the show floor, I think all but two of them had been finished by.
Don't look over here at me. I don't know what you're talking about.
By, Bob the cigar guy is taking credit behind the screen, but I think he's just saving face for the first lady.
No, it's energy food.
But I could have sworn that the instructions were, these are for the first lady and Shanna. And when they came to the room, I'm pretty sure that little piece of information was withheld.
Well,
Chris.
Chris is saying there's more to come in March.
Yeah.
And thankfully, that means that Bob the Cigar Guy and I are actually going to be able to enjoy them because we're not bringing our wives this go round to Vegas.
Well, it's a Hawaiian thing that they bring gifts, and it's great because it's Chris and Trisha, but then we get like all the other Hawaiians, and they all bring us chocolate. Our rep out there, all the shop owners and all their crew. So we end up getting a lot of candy, a lot of those chocolate macadamias. And I'll tell you, when you're sitting at the end of a long day and you didn't get to eat, the chocolates are a lifesaver. You're like, okay, I get to have some chocolate now. It's cool.
They're probably a good business model to have as well, because maybe somebody came by and made a sizable purchase, and then they decide to come back for some more chocolates, and they're like, you know what? Let me go ahead and add to my purchase. it might be a good sales tactic in the long run. So Chris, keep doing your thing.
Heck yeah, Chris, keep doing your thing.
You're holding something.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things that I wanted to ask Cindy. Okay, you guys, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust has a lot of swag.
Yes.
I want to know, inquiring mind wants to know, what exactly swag-wise do you have in your own personal house that you personally use?
We use the crystal ashtrays all the time. We use the leaf ashtrays, the one I'm using now. We use those a lot. We also have every day. Steve has espresso, and we have these. I don't have any in my office, but we have these little espresso cups about this big, and he has like 10 of them at home. So he uses those all the time. And I have the. We don't really have them anymore, but we have a unicorn mug. And I use that a lot for my tea. So we do have some swag. We don't have any signs up. What else do we have? I use my DTT cutter. I use that a lot too. The new one that's out. That it's not out for sale, but people have had it. So, and that was gifted to me by the guy that makes them. So I like it's special. I don't really share it too often. So,
it's an awesome cutter. Bob the Cigar Guy uses it all the time, especially on his Sunday videos. But he used it to cut open his cigar that he's smoking over there right now. Now, same for you, Miss Yvonne. Is there a daily swag item, or is there swag that decorates your house? Do you have like a DTT?
Well, as you can see behind me, I have a lot here at the office. There's a little bit of, can you even see? All kinds of stuff floating around. See, there's stuff everywhere. And at home, yeah, I'll be honest. I have this, Cindy, you've seen it. I have this bookshelf in my place that is packed with all kinds of stuff. So I like my swag, and I too like my cutter.
Oh, there it is. Like in the cutter.
I will tell you, like Bob and Steven get a lot of like swag stuff. So they have hats and t-shirts and definitely not swag, but cigars. And then they have like those decorative boxes and the like cool things that cigars are packaged in as collector items and stuff. But there is only, and I am literal with this, there is only one tobacco company swag item that is in my house that gets used every week, maybe a couple times a week. I love the coffee mugs. I have the brown one that's got the like kind of beveled pear shape, that one.
The tankard. And
then I have a blue one that is similar to, I'm trying to make it, oh, there we go. Similar to this. And we just did a cup and mug clean out. Those two mugs made the cut because I use them. I love them. And I love to also give things away. And so this beautiful mug, the green DTT mug, is going to be given away tonight. Ooh. With
looks like cigars. I'm not sure which cigars are in here.
I don't know. I would either.
Assume
you want to surprise us.
I would assume that they are Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust cigars. By first grab, they are. So there is a Brulee Blue.
My favorite.
There's
you heard it here, folks. Our favorite.
The Saka Khan. The big boy of the Pavasaka. There is the Mikirita Tricky Traka. There is the blue Mikirita, and this is the selection number 5.
Nice.
Permiso. So we have 2 care packages, 2 giveaway packages that are the same exact. So this one
Are they the exact same thing?
That's what I was told by my assistant.
Your
over there.
assistant told you that?
And then the mug. I did not know we were doing giveaways. I knew that there was a possibility.
What?
Because
I'm your mama.
You are. But for the people who don't know, my mom is notorious for just giving stuff away.
Who on here does not know that the first lady loves to give things away?
We have things in studio that we have in abundance.
I can give more stuff away.
No. This is me setting up a story. I
hear you setting up. I've got more stuff that I can give away.
We have stuff that we have in abundance for giveaways. And Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust has been so wonderful in their partnership with the Bob the Cigar Guy channel to send us stuff for giveaways. But sometimes we only have like one of things, and sometimes my mom comes on live and says, "Oh, let's give this away," and we're like, "That's the only one we got."
And I'm like, "Come on!"
Are you going to give away the hat that's on his head?
I don't know if anybody wants this one. We do have another one that Bob has not worn yet, so we might could give that one away.
No.
No way. Actually, if you had wanted to hit Bob hard, you would have said, "Bob, throw that cutter in there for a giveaway."
Bob is over there silently having a heart attack.
Because it's funny, I didn't see the cutter in here when he wasn't here. And then when he showed up to light his cigar, he pulled the cutter out. So I think he had it in his pocket and on his person just to make sure that giveaway fingers here didn't give something away.
Again, calling a lady old is not nice.
It's not old, it's old. Like as in the descriptor, right? An adjective. Like
calling me old.
Old Yeller was young too.
Was Old Yeller really young?
Old Yeller didn't die from old age. He died from rabies.
Don't talk about Old Yeller. That just gets me crying.
Yeah. No, we don't want that.
No.
This is the lighthearted show.
We won't go that far. So to segue into this now, I'll make it easy on you just so that you don't have to possibly choose another company. But Miss Yvonne, we'll go with you first.
Uh-oh.
Of the blends that Steve Saka has created, which is your favorite?
Ooh.
Do you have a favorite?
Ooh.
You know what? That is a difficult question to answer, because do you know how lucky I am where I work? Like, every cigar is great. And so there's different cigars I like at different times. I mean,
Sure.
If you say that to me, I'm probably going to say Brûlée Blue. But you know what? I love Papa Saka. Do you remember Todos Los Dias? Oh, I love that cigar.
Todos Los Dias was my favorite Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust cigar.
I might have actually gotten tears in my eyes when Steve said, I think we're going to put this one to the side for, and I was like, what? No.
There were tears in my eyes. And so one of the things that cracks me up with Steve is very confident, and I love Steve's confidence in a lot of things and how he talks about things. And Steve is very intelligent, very well versed in the palate. He's very well versed in the way that the cigar culture is kind of sort of going with with what people are buying and whatnot. He can see the metrics of what sells and what doesn't sell. And I can remember vividly on a live show that he was a part of, where he had said that he blends cigars so that he can smoke cigars, right? Mm-hmm. But then he had also said that
He said he might smoke a little.
I've got the Todos Los Dias, which is a favorite for a lot of people, and then I have the Sobremesa Brûlée that is the favorite for a lot of people. But nobody likes both the Todos Los Dias and the Brûlée the same, because they're two completely different cigars. And I sat there and said, "You're out of your mind, Steve, because those are my two favorite cigars from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust." And they are complete opposite ends of the spectrum. You had a cigar that punched you square in your mouth that you probably shouldn't smoke on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, versus a cigar that is perfect to go alongside a nice light cup of coffee and in a nice, breezy summer day. But for me, those were my two favorite cigars. And the Todos Los Dias was the first cigar.
Was that your 2023 list?
No. The Todos Los Dias was the first cigar that I fell in love with, which is classified as a heavier cigar. There are many other companies that have really strong cigars that I do love now. Like Roma Craft makes a lot of really heavy cigars, and I used to hate smoking Roma Craft because it seemed like it was just blended for the man's man who eats pickled herring and drinks scotch by the bottle and lives on the backside of a lighthouse in the middle of the Pacific where it always rains. But
that's
eventually,
pretty hefty. That's a very good word, Victor.
That's how it used to be for me. And then I got a hold of the Todos Los Dias, and I fell in love with it. And it changed my whole entire mind on heavier tobacco. It changed my whole entire mind on a heavier blend. And then when it was discontinued, it killed me. I was like, "How can you do this to me, Steve? You're picking on me. You've hurt my heart." And then he came out with the Mas Fuerte last year. I was like, "Oh, thank you, Steve, so much. I'm so happy that these came back out for a small time." And we fortunately have a lounge right down the street from my house. You have a lounge?
You've been hiding this from me?
Right down the street from my house that carries a hefty amount of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust cigars, and they got in some of those Mas Fuertes, and I had to pick some up when I saw them. So, Steve, if you're listening, bring them back.
So I want to know,
hold on.
I have an industry question.
Miss Cindy didn't get to answer the question.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I apologize. What was the question?
The question was, out of Steve's blends, and if you want to just stick on the DTT side, that's fine. But if you want to go into the DE blending days, that's possible as well. Is there a blend that you classify as your favorite, or that you find yourself smoking more often than any other blend?
Well, like I said earlier, I really love the blue. I always take a bundle for myself. The other one I like to smoke is the Blue Band Mi Querida Gordita. It's tiny, it's small, but I can smoke this on my way home from work and it's done. It's a short one. We had a cigar called Pequeño, and Yvonne and I cried when that one went because it was perfect. It was this one's it was like a 4x44. It's a really nice cigar, but we both snagged a box before those went out of production, at least one box. So yeah, those are great. And these are the Blue Band Mi Querida is a broadleaf. So again, they're very different cigars. So the brulee is mild and creamy and really just has that really nice blend. It's all nice and even. It's smooth. You don't have to worry about choking on pepper. None of Steve's cigars are peppery, but the Gordita has a different way of satisfying. And so I like that one a lot. But if I had to pick one from another manufacturer, I like the Fuente Anejo, and they're kind of hard to find sometimes. So when I get to find one, I will take it. I'll grab it because I do like that cigar. So
now, since you talk about the cigar that you love so much, that you both love so much, that Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust doesn't produce at the moment, how do you ever nudge Steve and say, "Hey, can you just have them, look at the blend real quick and make a couple bundles? We'll just keep them at the office. Don't even put a band on them."
I hear Cindy going, "Papa Saka."
Not my ear, please. Do it at the camera, not me.
Well, it's funny. I don't blend cigars, but many, many years ago, it was before we started DTT. Steve made a blend for my dad, and it was a powerhouse. It was blended just for my dad. His palate was strong. I don't think his taste buds were working right because he was older. And before he died, we had like 1,700 of these come into the country. It's like, what do we do with it? He's not going to be able to smoke them. And excuse me, we ended up using them for some events. After about 5 years of aging, they ended up tasting really good. But it's not financially feasible. So someday I'd like to see that come back. I don't know if it ever will. But, you know, I never say never. I've been pushing him a little bit on that one, just to bring it back and honor my dad. But
That's really
yeah, he took away that pequeño, and we haven't seen it since. So I don't know. He might bring it back as one of those the archive series, which was what the Todos los Días Más Fuerte was. So you never know.
What is your influence with Steve? Because I mean, you guys are married, and you know, I know like business comes into your lives. It's what you guys live.
Yeah, but it's him. It's
Yeah,
so,
I don't have any influence either.
no,
I was just gonna say it was a little different for you guys.
what do you think of this? But usually, no, I don't. My input doesn't sway him one way or the other. He doesn't rule by committee. It's all Steve. So if he finds a cigar, he'll smoke it and he'll say it's awful. I'm not going to use that one. And I might smoke it and say it's really good. So we always go with what Steve's instincts are, because his instincts are what's got us here. So
that kind of segues into a question I was going to ask, because it kind of piggybacked off of your last statements with the cigar for your father. Have there been blends that Steve has blended and brought to New Hampshire, or you going down to Nicaragua, that you're like, oh man, I really wish that would have made it to production for the public, because I really would have loved to have smoked that cigar? Has that happened? How many times has that happened?
not really, because he keeps things pretty tight. He doesn't, like I said, he doesn't really let us have much until it's time, for production. I had one yesterday that I loved. It might be production because he likes it too. So he was just sharing, and I was like, give me something to smoke on the way home. So, but my input doesn't really sway him. So it's all about what he thinks is what he likes, his palate, and then he hopes other people will like it too. And that's just how he's decided to run the company, Sin Compromiso, because he doesn't want to have to compromise. He doesn't want to have 6 people telling him what's good and what's not good. So when he goes to Nicaragua, he'll come home with bundles and bundles and bundles of cigars. And it's all just for him to taste, him to try out. And, when he did that whole Stillwell Star project, I can't tell you how many of those he smoked. He smoked so many of them, he was kind of tired of it. Mm. But he'll just make what he wants to make. And I think that has been one of the big blessings of this company, is it's given him freedom. It's the freedom to make what he wants to make. And he chooses the tobacco. He works with the tobacco folks down there. When I go to Nicaragua, I go to the factory, but my side of it's very different from his side. So I'll be, asking like, when will we be getting these, and how many will we be getting, and what can we get more of, and that sort of thing. He's really about getting the blend right and getting it perfect for people. I don't know. Well, you weren't at the trade show a few years ago. He didn't like the humidity of the cigars, and he had his little hygrometer there sticking it in every single cigar to make sure it was right, because he doesn't want anybody to buy something and it's not as it should be. He wants it to be ready to go out of the box. I know people like to age their cigars a little bit, and that's fine. But he wants his stuff to be ready to go. He doesn't want you to have to play with it or baby it or anything. He just wants you to be able to sit back, light up, and enjoy. And
So how do you ladies, share that information when you guys get a cigar into a shop? Yvonne, you deal with the reps, and how do you ensure that's the quality of product that we want to put out there, and this is how we let you know that?
Well, I mean, we really value the input from our shops. I mean, that's one of the things that I think that we do really well is that we try to maintain a great relationship with each of our shops. There's a lot of communication, whether it's through the brokers to the shops or us directly to the shops. And, it's something that we're always asking them, how they like it and how it's doing in the shop. And, I mean, we listen to their feedback. And, if they ever said that they were unhappy with something, then we're going to try to figure out what could possibly be wrong. What can we do to make it right? Because we want the shops to be happy with it. We want the consumers to be happy with it. So it is something that we constantly are looking into. So it's important.
Now, to track back just a little bit, I'd like to pose this question to you too, Ms. Yvonne, because we were talking earlier about how you guys get to smoke at the shop or at the warehouse in your offices, and you're privy to a lot of cigars. Has there been anything? Have you had the chance to smoke some of maybe test blends or blends that are possibly going to come to production that didn't make it to production? And if so, have you ever experienced oh man, I wish that would have made it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But Steve always likes to hear my opinion, but in the big scheme of things, it doesn't matter. It's if he likes it or not. That's the bottom line, and he's the one with the palate. He's the one that, he's just so good at it. The truth is my palate is not anything like his. I know I either like it or I don't like it. That's how it is for me. And I run the gamut. I tend to like stronger cigars, but I truly enjoy a lighter cigar as well. Steve wants to know our opinion of it, but again, the bottom line is he's the man. He knows what he likes, and that's why our cigars are good.
100%. And obviously, Steve likes cigars that a lot of people like as well. Because again, you go into,
right.
We talk about how we talked a little bit earlier about how, a company like, look at the Don Derma, right? The Don Derma's first edition, where we were told the Don Derma's coming out once, you better get it. And Ronnie is a great salesman, right? Ronnie is a fantastic salesman. He will. I won't say he'd sell his child to sell the cigar because these little mysteries so precious, but I think he might sell his kidney or his nose to make sure that he could to get a Saka sampler out there. But that one was so wildly successful, and then you had the whole debacle with cigars getting lost in Greece, and then you've had a couple of more releases.
Is it that they got lost or they got lost?
Yeah, they ended up in New Hampshire. There's a small town in New Hampshire called Greece, I guess. But now we have the second edition, celebrating Little Gray and the Golden Child. You see all of these blends that sell out. You had the Red Meat Lovers Club, which was a small club exclusive that you could get with Evan, through Smoke In, and now it's a national release. I love being able to see the press releases come out that say, hey, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust is now opening up to this new European market as well. You see all these things. So Steve's obviously doing it right because he's selling us cigars. You guys are hiring a new employee. You're adding your 10th employee. You're growing. So that's...
We need to throw a 10th employee party or something.
Here in Travelers Rest, y'all come on down. We'll throw you a party. You guys bring the pork.
You can come get a t-shirt.
Well, we're now in business 8 years, so we have 2 more years to go, but there'll be something special coming for the 10th year. I know he's got something in mind. What it is, I'm not sure. I know one of the things that uh, he decided to set aside the "Now Leave Me the Hell Alone," the hashtag, uh, Lancero, but it's mainly because we keep growing that line, the Moestra de Saka line. We add something all the time, so we had to take something away. And it was a good seller, but it wasn't the best seller because those Lancero smokers they're a niche group of people.
It's a
I know.
niche group in an already niche market.
Yes, and I know that is one of Yvonne's favorite sizes is that Lancero. So, but he has plans to do something with that as well. So I can't really tell you what it is because he doesn't really share a lot of that stuff. He just he's off doing his own thing and does his thing, and then all of a sudden here it is. And so, like I said, we'll find out on Facebook.
I was going to say, if history repeats itself, we'll find out at the same time you guys find out.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Or sometimes you find out by driving in the backseat of the car.
Yeah.
Remember that road? I went on a road trip with Cindy and Steve. We went to go visit a shop out, and it was a drive. And the whole time he's talking and talking and talking, and I'm in the back, and I literally am writing everything down he's saying. I'm like, what did he say? What? Because sometimes that's how I learn things, and you can ask Cindy. I am like a ridiculous note taker. I have ridiculous notes. So, but it is what it is. But that's how you learn, right? Listen.
My wife is a note taker. To sit down next to her in church every Sunday, like that's part of my birthday gifts and Christmas gifts to my wife every year is new blank notepads, because she will fill a 150-page notebook in 4 Sundays. Just because, and she's a teacher. My wife's a teacher. She teaches 4th grade, so that's just been her thing. And so, but she's a note taker, so I feel you there.
So one of the things, though, Cindy, that you talked about a couple of times is things come out on social media. And one of the questions that Chris had put up, and so you talked about the hashtags, and it comes along with a campaign's, kind of slogan. What's the role of social media for DTT?
It's huge. It's huge. Because Steve engages with consumers directly. It's not just a press release here. He'll answer questions in great detail. A lot of people kind of joke when he writes a short blurb and they're like, where's the rest of it? Because he's notorious for writing long things. And he's tried some other things with videos and stuff like that. But he really his finger has been on the pulse of the consumer for 25, 30 years. He knows what people are looking for, and he loves to share his knowledge. And he has a lot. He is very, very well versed in this. He studied a lot on his own. He's read a lot. He's also visited the factories. And so he's really, really knowledgeable about all of the tobacco, what it looks like when it's growing, what kind of seed he wants to use. So he really knows that stuff. And social media has been a really big platform for him to get that knowledge out there. So if you ever go to an event with Steve, you'll be there for hours just listening and listening. I still listen. After all this time, I still listen because I still learn things every now and then. Something will pop up and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's something new. But social media has really helped drive our company too. And it's good because we have a whole fan base of people out there that are constantly posting pictures, and Chris, I know you asked that question, Chris. Chris has been a big part of it too. He's always, championing our cigars out on the internet as well, on Instagram and on Facebook. So social media is really, really important because it's just allowed us to reach so many more people on such a intimate level that we could not have done without it. And he, like I said, he's really good at one-on-one. Please, please, please don't go private messaging him, people. He goes crazy with that. But he's found it to be, it's a nonstop. He's always on Facebook, always trying to connect with the people and make sure that if somebody posts something about the cigars, whether good or bad, he wants to know. He wants to know what happened. He wants to know what's going on. So if somebody gets a bad box, and we have had this happen, it happens, they're handmade, they can change, we'll replace it, because we don't want them to have that experience of a bad cigar. We want them to have a great experience when they smoke one of our cigars. It's part of what we breathe here, is that no compromise. We have a standard that we're trying to uphold, and he doesn't want to lose sight of that. So that's why he engages a lot. So social media, very important to our company. Not to every company, but for us, very big.
Now, as Stephen is talking, you're talking, I'm looking at Stephen, I'm like, I got something to say. And so, Steve, I love his loquaciousness. I love all the comments he has. But then I'm Southern, so when I send an email, it's a lot like Steve's comments on Facebook. And Steve has changed the way I do things. He goes, Bob, I love you. You love me. I know that. I don't have time. Just tell me what you want. Tell me what you want to tell me, and I'll say yes or no or whatever, and we'll just go on. So I have painfully learned how to take all the southernness, the hello, how you doing, how's the family, any woodchucks have you saved lately, or any of that stuff, any fishing or whatever. I've shut that down and say, hey, this is my question. This is what I need. I hope this wasn't too long. And he'll come back and say, that was just right. I love you. Bye-bye. And so it's kind of interesting how we have that communication. And I'm so glad I got to be on here to tell y'all that y'all are awesome. Y'all are fantastic. Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust is a company unto itself that cares for the people. I mean, y'all are providing, paychecks and everything for everybody in your group, but it's not all about the money. It's about building that community. And I love that. And the fact that y'all sponsor us and that you give me a chance to have a platform to be able to share positive content is just amazing. And I'm humbled. I consider y'all family. Anytime you want to come down here and hang out and get away from the snow, Yvonne, it's not Florida hot, but it can get muggy. It can get hot down here. We got big mosquitoes too. So y'all are more than welcome to come and hang out in the studio. If you bring all 10, I'll have to clean the shop as well, because we don't have enough room here. So.
Well, my finance manager would be like, company retreat. She's always trying to get us to go somewhere, but I think she really wants to go to like Fiji or something. So I don't know.
Yes, they mean Fiji, but Stephen does a mean pork on the smoker. So,
and we do have Fiji water.
We have Fiji water. So get y'all back to the pretty people. I'm gonna turn the camera back around.
Oh, we're not allowed to hire pretty people.
Hey.
We aren't either.
All right. I do not have the worst soundbite this evening. I have been completely removed from the doghouse. Miss Yvonne and I are best friends again.
Yeah, now Cindy and I have some issues.
You're gonna get the Dunbarton girl skateboard through the window over there.
I want to get to my fun part and give away the mugs and the cigars. I have two. I have two of the mugs. They are. I will show you again.
I'll take care of this.
Okay, you take care of this. It is the green DTT. I love that logo, but honestly, love the mug. They travel well in the microwave when I heat up my coffee that sits on the counter for an hour and gets cold. But what I was thinking, since we have two beautiful DTT girls with us tonight, that Cindy, you come up with a number and Yvonne will come up with a number.
Okay, but you got to take Chris Duque out of this, because he has everything.
Oh, okay. I didn't say that.
Chris, you're bored.
I just
You're
want
banned.
you to know I love you and the chocolates you bring to
Yeah, Chris, please.
We
Please
love
don't
Chris.
affect my
Chris gets whatever he wants. He just gets whatever he wants. So.
So I would say don't reveal your number. We'll do numbers from 1 to what's best for the internet group.
We've got 32 people currently watching.
Okay.
So I think maybe 1 to 50. Now we will say go whenever they get their numbers, and we'll do one after the other. So Miss Cindy will let you go first, and Miss Yvonne will let you do the second giveaway. So once they have their numbers and they say, "Oh, I've got my number," between 1 and 50. Oh well, goodness.
Same person you can.
Well,
Right,
here's the thing.
So we got to give all the disclaimers.
Well, I would need to know their number. Is the thing.
Um,
Do you guys see the private chat button on the right side of your screen?
On the right side. Yes.
Okay, so if you go to the private chat and you'll both put in your numbers there, and then that way I can see what your numbers are, because I'll monitor the comments, because the comments, they're going to come fast.
they go fast. Those numbers roll fast.
So if you see where the private chat is, just put in your number there. It should tell me who is saying.
I think
It's not letting me type in anything. I got a thing that says chief here.
Yes, so I just commented there. So at the bottom of that, it says
Oh, down here.
chat with everyone in the studio.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a comment.
All right, so
Oh,
I see Miss
okay.
Cindy's number, and I see Miss Yvonne's number. All right.
We are so predictable.
yeah, we are, aren't we?
So what we'll do is when I say go, which that was not it.
Not it.
We'll go. People can go ahead and start putting their comments in the comment box on Facebook or YouTube. Now I do have to give this disclaimer every single time that I do this. I can only go off of how the numbers pop up on my chat. My chat may look different from somebody on YouTube's chat, somebody on Facebook's chat. Somebody on Facebook may get it before somebody on YouTube. So I have to go with what I see in my chat box area. So you just have to trust that we do that.
And
if you are a winner, we will, what you'll do, I'll let you know that you're the winner, obviously. And then you will email rgfinley70@gmail.com with your information for us to ship to, unless you're somebody that we already have your shipping information with. So,
and if you win the first one, please be kind, and you can't win twice. So I know we usually don't need to say that, but then we do need to say that.
right.
So if you win the first go round, you can't win the second one.
Yeah. And it's one number at a time. So you can't just put all 1 through 50 in your chat box and win. All right. So now we'll say go ahead and go.
Do the first.
Yeah, we're gonna
do
do Miss Cindy's first. Now it's a mug and 5 cigars. The 5 cigars were a Brule Blue, a Sakakan, a Sin Compromiso, a Mi Querida, and a Tricky Traca, I do believe. All right, so we are going with Miss Cindy's number first, and we've got a lot of numbers coming in already, and so I'm scrolling through, and then when we get to it, I will say stop, but we've not gotten to it yet, so continue. All right, we have a winner. So you guys go ahead and stop. Now this is for the first one, and just to make sure that I have not made it wrong, hopefully this comes back to where I need it to. Let me go up and find it because it did update. All right, so Miss Cindy chose number 15. So Benjamin Todd Fry, congratulations. You have won yourself a Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust mug and 5 Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust cigars. Benjamin Todd Fry, if you will, please go to email rgfinley70@gmail.com and say, hey, I'm Benjamin Fry. I won the first of the 2 giveaways on your show this evening. And then give us your mailing address so that we can get that to you in the mail. So congratulations, Benjamin.
And Benjamin is on Facebook.
He was over on Facebook.
Yeah.
Now let me come back over here and make sure that I have that number in my my brain as well. And we will go ahead and start. Oh, looky there. Chris UK said, Brother Steven and Sister Sarah, please send me the winner's name and address, and I'll send them some goodies from Hawaii.
Yay! Extra giveaways! I love it! Yay!
Nice.
This is the part of like the shows I love. I know that a lot of the swag doesn't come easy sometimes, and a lot of the swag can be like, I know that they did that big, huge giveaway this past year, and like people get that stuff and then they resell it on eBay.
Yeah.
But like, I love to give away the swag stuff, and I especially love to give away the things that I know that I use.
Yeah.
And like, I can actually say, you know what? I've given away hats, but I usually wear a hat. I'll wear a hat and I'll try it out. And then I'll be like, hey, let's give that hat away. Or, stuff like that. I love to just give their stuff away. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I love to see the reactions when I go, hey, let me give something away.
We have, unfortunately, Sammy Flo and Rick Carroll are about 30-45 seconds, and Steve Schufelt are a little late over on Facebook.
Because we haven't started the second giveaway yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I think they're probably answering for the first one. They're probably on a delay a little bit. So let me go back over here real quick. Make sure I remember this number. I do remember that number now. And so for our second giveaway,
which looks very similar to this giveaway.
It's the same exact one. It's a clone. So Miss Yvonne has given me her number, and we will go ahead and go now. Go. As we wait for the comments to stroll through and come through.
I'm the queen of like making weird intro noises and breaking news.
Yeah, you. I'm glad you were able to hold back after talking about hey, quit doing all that stuff. Usually it's a little harder to get you to stop, and this go around you seem to have gotten it. Yeah, I'm just gotta make sure. I have seen the number, so you guys can go ahead and stop, and I just gotta make sure nobody said it beforehand. And this is somebody who we do have their mailing address, but we still might need you to send us your
just go ahead and send it anyway.
But he's gone through the process before. But this is Senior Dan Burns. Dan Burns, congratulations. You are now the proud owner of a Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust coffee cup and 5 Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust premium tobacco cigars, and whatever Chris 2K sends you as well.
As an aloha from
Bob,
Hawaii.
you will be in charge of getting that information to Chris 2K, if you will. So Dan Burns, congratulations. You guys can go ahead and it was 24. Sorry, I put it up on the screen.
So I want to know, you guys said, hey, we're predictable. Like, let's talk about those numbers. What do your numbers mean to you, Miss Cindy and Miss Yvonne?
There are birthdays.
Oh!
We both went in the same direction.
Yep.
We think a lot alike, which is sometimes dangerous, but yeah, so those are
dangerous for who? Dangerous for you guys or dangerous for Steve?
Dangerous for Steve sometimes. It's because we'll think a lot alike, and he'll ask what's going on, and we're just in sync with those.
We are.
All kinds of decision making and that sort of
That's
thing.
got to be helpful.
It is. And our other sales gal that's in the office, she's beginning to think like us after a few years, which is kind of cool, because now it's kind of like she used to come in my office and be very timid and say, hey, what do you think? And now she says, I'm thinking about doing this. And she's spot on. So, she's thinking like the big girls, so it's a good thing,
Do you guys do like the brainstorming meetings? You get the big whiteboard and you start with your thought bubble in the middle and then draw out like all the lines that lead out to.
Not really. No. If we have something coming in, if we have something big coming in, like we're now shipping Polpetta. And a lot of times we'll sit and we'll decide, we'll look at all of the orders that came in and we'll be like, okay, so you're going to take these and you're going to take these and you take these. And so we just attack it that way so that we can get all the product out. When it came to the holiday 2022, we were able, holiday 2023 was delayed in shipping. So we got it right before Thanksgiving and it got delayed in the factory. It got delayed in shipping. Everything was delayed. And we basically banged all of those orders out in like 6 days. And it was pretty intense. So we did it because we had a plan of attack. So now and then we don't have that plan of attack. We just sort of, okay, we all have our people that we deal with and just get the product out. But we'll go through like big shipments coming in and take a look at that and see who's going to get what and when it's going to happen and all that sort of thing. So yeah, but we have no whiteboard anymore. We did at one time.
Is it Google Calendar now? Like everybody syncs their calendars and everybody knows where everybody's at? Or
we do have a company calendar for time off, but that's pretty much it. We're very laid back. We're very, like I said, we're a tiny company. We put out a lot more. We definitely punch above our weight class, but we all come from different backgrounds and different strengths, and we just kind of put our strengths out there. So it makes for a very good team, really tight ship. So
that's awesome. I know that's helpful, like in any workplace, is to be able to have like easy, like that flow. Everybody kind of knows what they're doing. And then if something is out here in the outlier fringe, like, okay, well, so-and-so's going to pick that up. And people are like, no, let me pick that up. Instead of, oh, wait a minute, I've got enough over here.
Every now and then there's a snafu and we just try to fix it the best we can and move on from it. So, and we do, like, we haven't done it in a while. We probably should, but we used to do a lot of art nights where we would sit and we're women. We like to do crafts and stuff like that and paint and all those sorts of things. So, we'll get together and just put all our stuff out there and do something fun. So
it'd be cool to be like, let's do this art night. And then somebody does something weird or crazy or awesome and beautiful. And Steve looks at it and goes, that's my next cigar band.
I don't know if we're that good. We're creative. I mean, my daughter-in-law pretty much has the corner on creativity. She's really good. She took our coffins this last Christmas and made them into little like nutcrackers. She painted them to look like nutcrackers, which Steve really liked. It's a lot of work. It's not a viable thing, but he's like, boy, wouldn't that be a cool box to open up? And all of the coffins are painted like little nutcrackers and they're the holiday ones or something, but it's just not a viable, we can't do that on a mass scale, but yeah, we have a lot of creative people. And so
you guys as a company do things like special for your employees, like you might have a blend that maybe didn't get out. And so you put together a special thing for the employees, or like you're saying, the coffins that look like nutcrackers. Like it might be an employee special, or is that something that you guys are just like, no, we're not going to do that. We wouldn't want that to make it out somewhere, like it to get sneaked out on eBay or, whatever. Like, how do you guys address that?
I don't know. We really haven't had any kind of problems with it. And I think, with like she posted, Steve actually will take the pictures of something interesting and post it if we make something kind of cool, especially Anna, my daughter-in-law, because she's so good at it. And he'll say, hey, look what you can do with bands, or look what you can do with these coffins. So it's really not to put on eBay or anything, but if somebody decided they wanted to sit and paint a whole bunch of coffins, more power to them. We don't have the time, but every now and then something comes along and it's just kind of cool to see. So, but we used to actually go off site to a ladies' art night. I don't know what else to call it, and just hang, drink wine, and paint.
The sip and paints
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we all kind of like it because it's time to be fun together. We also do birthday celebrations for every employee has a birthday, and on their birthday or around their birthday, we order a big meal, and we just kind of have a nice communal time together to just sit and talk. And I can't tell you how many times I'm just sitting back and watching and saying, wow, I have a really awesome team. So and they'll just be talking about movies or anything, and so we get along that way too.
I think that's one of the neat things about like Chief Talk on the Thursday nights, is because like kind of those same people, like they're like your bulwark, they're your people. They come together and like they know what time to be here, and some will pop on for a couple of minutes and hang out. They share, hey, they may have had a loss in their family, or they might have had, a birth in the family, and they come on and they share that. And it's like something that you really look forward to. And I would say that that's huge in a work culture, but it speaks loudly of the cigar culture.
It does. The cigar culture does translate into our office, even though I would say Yvonne, Anna, and I are the only ones that really smoke. Everybody else doesn't smoke, except the guy over in the warehouse. He smokes too. But we want this to be an environment where people want to come to work. I don't want to be that manager that's always pushing things down their throat. That's not my leadership style. So I want everybody to be happy and healthy, because if they're not happy and healthy, they aren't going to work as well. So, we keep it kind of light. Everybody checks in the morning, says hello. Everybody checks in at the end of the day, says goodbye. So it's not like a big corporation where you can kind of sneak out. You don't really do that. So, and, we're pretty generous with time off for appointments and things like that. And so we try to make it a place where it's comfortable to be. And I spend more time with everyone here than I do with Steve, really. I mean, even though we live in the same house, we sleep in the same bed, we don't see each other as often as I see everybody in the office. So this is my ohana, and we feel that way about each other. If there's an issue, they all know they can come to me, and we sort it out. So, but I think that is part of the cigar culture, as a community, a family. We have family all over the country. I know that if we go to Hawaii, we'll get to see Chris and Trisha. I know if we go to Detroit, there's a whole other crew of people there. We go to Florida, there's people down there. So there's just a lot of people all over the country that we've been fortunate enough to make acquaintances, and acquaintances become friends. And I think that's the really cool thing about the cigar community. It's something that our government doesn't understand. It's something that a lot of non-smokers don't understand, because they just think it's smoking in the little bus stop area, because that's where you can smoke. It's not like that at all. We like to sit, have a drink, talk, and smoke and maybe have some food, and it's just a lot of fun. So this is a relaxed place. It's a relaxed place to come and share your ups and downs. And I've seen a lot of ups and downs in various groups, and everybody's very supportive of one another, and that's really the best thing you can see, because you don't see it in the news. You don't see it out in your world. But in the cigar community, you see that support and that love for each other. And then, it can translate into your own life. So it's really kind of it's a niche, but it's also just a really great place that you can feel comfortable. You walk in any shop and you're going to feel comfortable.
Mhm.
So that's the best part.
Miss Yvonne, you've been nodding your head a lot in agreement. Is there anything you'd like to add in with that alongside of what Miss Cindy said?
Well, I just, I feel very fortunate to be part of the Dunbarton team, and I feel very comfortable saying I believe that everybody that works here feels the same way. It is, it is work, but it's that work family. I mean, we want to come to work. Yeah, there's some tough days, like right now we're trying to get Pulpette out, it's like, got to get it out. We got stuff to do, but we can still support each other and be there for everybody. And, like any workplace, we all have stuff that goes on in our personal life, but this is a very solid family feeling. We're good. We're really lucky to work here and work with Cindy and Steve. I can't begin to express it.
And that's one of the things that I feel that I've been able to take away. I feel like I've felt that, from what's displayed on the internet, from when Steve posts things, or Miss Yvonne, when you post on to Instagram, or even when Dave posts and talks. I feel like that's something that is a general truth that's kind of wrung out from any time that you see anything from a Dunbarton family member. I don't want to say employee, but a Dunbarton family member that DTT Ohana. I feel like that's something that is echoed, and it's great to hear that from you ladies, to talk about how while Steve does everything, sin compromiso, runs the ship, like you had said, Miss Cindy, and keeps it tight and whatnot. It's very much a Steve comes to you guys and says, hey, what did you think about this cigar? Like Miss Yvonne was saying, he valued your opinion on that cigar, and whether the cigar made it out to the public or not, he valued that from you guys. And I think that's part of the success behind your crew of 9, soon to be 10, of this conglomerate work machine that doesn't feel like work. Obviously, like, you have those days where it does feel a little bit more like work than it did fun, but at the end of the day, you're enjoying what you're doing, you're enjoying who you're with, and you're enjoying the product that you're putting out. Plus, you enjoy the community that you're putting the product out for, which I think is a huge thing, because when you get to a point where you're no longer thinking about, you're thinking more about the actual product instead of the one who you're producing the product for, I think you can get lost in the weeds a little bit there. And I feel like one of the great things about Steve, like you said earlier, Steve will put things out on Facebook before he sends out a press release. And I chuckle at that, because I think with Chevetta Report, I've put out more press releases on Chevetta Report concerning Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust based off of Steve Saka's Facebook posts than something that I've gotten in my actual email. So the transparency, again, Steve, very knowledgeable and very, very kind to put that knowledge out for people. It's not like he's coming at it from a standpoint of, oh, I know this knowledge and you don't. Like some people may, if they had the vast amount of knowledge that Steve has when it comes to tobacco and the industry and anything else. But Steve genuinely answers questions or puts things out there for people to read, so they can become smarter in cigars, smarter in tobacco, smarter into the process behind it. And I think that's probably, at least from my point of view, my angle looking at you guys, I think that probably lends to a lot of y'all's success, in the sense of we are cigars for the people and a company for the people, instead of how can we make another quick buck off of some swag item or some cigar thing right here. Steve's not just putting out cigars to just make paychecks. Steve's putting out cigars that he likes to smoke, he loves, and that you guys love, and puts it out there for the world to love as well. And I think it's been successful. Again, we talked about all of the massive sellouts that he's had through blends, through Smoke In, or through Secreto, or other lounges that you guys do work with.
Well, the other thing too is we could just do those one-off releases as a business model, and that could be it. But that's not what he's trying to do. We're trying to build brands. We're trying to build the longevity of the company. And Steve and I are getting up there, so we aren't. This is not. We're going to be doing this for a while, and I think that answers to the people too. That when we go out there, we try to make. Steve's like a bride when he goes out there. He hits every table. Yvonne's a mingler. She loves to go out and talk to people. I'm more of I want to know one-on-one, and I don't mind the public speaking. But I think connecting with different people is really the enjoyable part of this. It's just just sitting and finding out what do they do, and what's their life like, and what do they like to smoke, and where do they like to smoke, and if that's coming into the lounge or the bar, that's where it is. So you have to make a point of just kind of meeting up with everybody and meeting them where they're at, because they might be a new smoker and they might be smoking for many years. So you have to kind of figure that out, and also find out what kind of things they like to smoke, so you can guide them to your product if you need to. If they've never had your cigar, then you need to kind of figure out what they like so you can introduce them to your brands. So it is a lot of consumer engagement and talking to people and interacting online. So we try to keep that up as well. So we don't have anybody in the office that takes care of Steve's social media. He does that all himself. So we've tried, and it just doesn't work very well. So we have to, because his voice is distinct. It's his voice. My voice is going to be different. Yvonne's is different. So we all approach it differently. But, we just try to get to know as many people as we can, and keep the business as tight as we can, so that it consistently puts out a good product. And that's in the factories too. So, and by the way, a lot of women work in the factory. So I'm sorry.
One of the things I'm thinking is that, you and Yvonne are the ladies' faces of DTT. And so, like, you are at a point in social media and just where the world is in general, where women are, like you guys have said, women have been a part of this industry for a really long time. But the big but, it doesn't seem like it. Like, the ladies seem, farther and few between. And especially when you sit down at the table with the industry folks. And so, it's got to feel kind of, I imagine, scary and exciting and empowering. And I don't know,
It is all of that, because I don't have the knowledge that Steve has. So I'm not going to pretend to come out and talk about tobacco leaf and how it's grown. I have a real rudimentary idea of all of that, but I can't get into the weeds like he is. He can tell you anything about anything. But I share the knowledge I have, and we just try to have a good conversation. So, but it is that connection. So I can't tell you how many customers we've had that we spend literally, it's not a 10-minute call when you call us. You might be on the phone with us, depending on who you are. anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to a half hour. And every now and then you get somebody that you're talking to for hours. And it's to give them that attention, that time, because they need that. They want that. They want to feel that we are paying attention to them and we can help them in any way we can. So we just kind of go at it. And yeah, the ladies have been in this business a long time. In the factories especially, the pairs are they're all together. The bunchero, it's always male, and the rolero is usually female. So we have a lot of women that are unsung heroes in this business because they are in the factory and they don't get the praise. And so we want to make sure that people know that women do a lot of the work, a lot of the nuts and bolts kind of stuff that we're there. Men are there to as well, but there are quite a few women. I mean, look at Yanni Garcia at my father. She's been in this business a long, long time. And Cynthia Fuente, and just a few people that I know personally that are really, they are icons in our industry. And in the shop owners too, we have quite a few lady shop owners, and it's so much fun. I'm thinking of Patricia at Casa Aficionado, powerhouse in that area. We also have, I'm trying to think, a lot of people together, Ken and Julie Newman at Newman Cigars in Libertyville, Illinois. And so we have these women that are working in concert with the men or on their own and just grinding it out every day in their shops and in their business, or even there have been many women in the upper echelons even of say Altadis. There have been some women, female executives. So yeah, we've been there a while. I think we're just now being seen. I'm not sure why that is, but it's lovely. I like that so much. And that is, as Woman of the Year, I guess it's to give me a voice to say that. Like I said, our staff is 90% female. So
I think it's an exciting time for you guys. We talk about the long hours that you guys are putting in, and here we are. We've taken up how many hours of your time?
Oh, we're there already.
Yeah. Yeah. But you guys are hanging out there. You're repping your brand well.
Thank you.
Woman of the Year in that cigar industry. I think that that's an awesome title. I encourage you to own that. Frame that puppy and hang it up. And having a good team behind you speaks a lot of your own character and who you surround yourself with. It can be an art. So brava, ladies.
Well, thank you. And
yeah.
I have to tell you, we have a couple young women here. Neither of them smoke, but they have become powerhouses for us. And we cannot run this company without these very young women that knew nothing about our industry. I'm always amazed when I hear our other sales gal on the phone, and she's just rocking it. She's helping her customers, educating them, and she's never smoked a cigar ever. So she just listens. She listens to Steve's podcasts or when he's on something, and she really owns it. And our warehouse manager is also female, and she's grown. Both of them have grown so much in the few years that they've been here. So it's a joy to watch them as they grow and learn an industry that is just not that common, especially in our neck of the woods. We have a lot of shops, but we don't have that many manufacturers in this area. So to have them in on that, it's really kind of exciting to see them grow. So it's been really a joy to watch the company move.
That's awesome, and I've been looking forward to having the Dunbarton ladies on as many of them as I could get. Hopefully we will be able to have you guys back, and maybe we can have have more in force to be able to get, more of the dirty laundry on Steve, and also to see the beautiful side of the females command in the cigar industry.
We are beautiful, aren't we, Steven?
Yes.
We have this saying around here. It's you're amazing. No, you're amazing. And it just kind of goes on from there, because we do try to lift each other up no matter what's going on. We've had a lot of illnesses and things that we've kind of had to work through, and everybody has come through that pretty well. So it's been really fun. So I can't imagine. Would I like a lot more days off? Yeah, but what would I do? Yeah.
Smoke more cigars.
I like coming into the office and seeing all my people and being a part of that. So it's really good. And it's great to see our product being received so well. And, top 25 lists and top 5 lists, whatever's going on out there, whoever is rating us. And we've had a lot of accolades, which is really, really wonderful to see. And just all these folks that are posting comments and posting, on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter, just to say, we really love your stuff. And we get it all the time. It's really quite amazing what's happened to this company in the last 8 years. So looking forward to more.
There you go.
Me too. I'm super looking forward to it. I'm thankful that, you guys have done what you guys have done in the past 8 years, and the trajectory that you guys seem to be on. It's exciting. I like to see good people succeed, right? I like to see the good people win. And
yeah,
most of the times in movies, you get to see, it always ends with the good guy or the good girl winning and the bad guy losing. And in real life, that's not always the case. And when you actually get to see it happening while you're in it, it's really nice to see that. So we are wishing continued success for Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. We are wishing continued success for the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust family, and everything that you gals do to make the company go.
Thank you.
Steve gets a lot of the credit, and he gets to be on a lot of the podcast. But I'm thankful that we got to have you ladies on to get to hear your side and what you guys are truly responsible for and what you guys do to push. And again, I'd love to have you guys back in the near future, and we look forward to seeing you guys in March.
Yeah, it's coming fast.
It is. It's crazy to think, it's like, oh man, has it been a year? It's like, oh no, it's not going to be a year, because last one was in July, this one's in March. So
right.
Yeah, it's a little short this year.
It's like 2 months.
It is.
Yeah.
On the upside, though, before we started the business, we used to do a 4th of July ice cream social at our house. Fireworks and ice cream, all kinds of weird soda. So a lot of fun. And we haven't done it since we started the business. We haven't had time because PCA is always right around that time. This year, we're going to bring it back. So we're very excited to bring our work family to our house and have fireworks and ice cream.
I hear a 4th of July trip coming up.
You're invited. Actually, everybody will end up at my house. But
you can't take it back now.
I heard that.
You don't know what you've done. You have no idea what you have done.
You cannot take backs.
Sarcasm is left short on 2 people in the room that I'm currently with.
You, yourself, and you.
But no, we thank you, ladies, so much for giving us your time. We have hit our 2-hour mark here. Miss Yvonne, Miss Cindy, thank you so much again for coming on, staying late at the office. I know you guys said your salary, but hopefully Steve will figure out some sort of incentive for making you guys sit up there a little longer than.
We'll go to the salt caves.
Oh yeah.
Oh, again, no takebacks.
We've been meaning to do it as a group for a long time, to go and sit in the salt caves, breathe in the salt air, and feel good, and get all night. It's very pampering. So, but it's been really fun, and I really enjoyed getting to meet you, Sarah.
Yes,
Yes.
you too. Yeah, both of you.
And
And I want a shirt, darn it.
I hear that. And the chief has, again, no takebacks, promised you one.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Look, she's in charge of of the production of those. So if I'm empty-handed in Vegas in a couple months, you know who to blame.
Okay, well.
okay.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much for coming
Thank
on.
you.
We appreciate it immensely, and we will make sure to try to schedule something for a little bit later in the year to have you guys back on again.
Sure thing. We'd love it.
It'll be a live from New Hampshire in July. Steve heard it here first. Just saying.
And this is my karma paybacks bitch,
Well, thank you, ladies, so much. Enjoy your evening, and
Thank you.
we'll catch you guys on social media.
Yes, absolutely.
See you there.
Thank you.
Thanks so
You
much.
ladies.
Thanks.
All right. Well, that was a fantastic show with the Dunbarton ladies, the
That was
Dunbarton
nice.
gals.
That was really nice.
Really appreciate them both taking out the amount of time pre-show, during the show, to spend with us and to hang out and to talk about all things lady side of Dunbarton, plus all things Dunbarton that are Steve affected as well. So thank you guys and ladies who were all in the comments. Didn't get to every single one of you this evening, but again, that's how Chief Talk works when we have our guests on, and I know you guys all expected that. But I do want to say a big thank you to everybody who popped in this evening. We had 42 at our peak, so we continue our streak. Second week into January, second week into 2024. Next week, Thursday, we are back at it again, smoking cigars and having fun. Bob Cigar Guy will probably be back on camera, so all of you who missed Bob's face will be able to see it next week. So is there anything that you'd like to say as we leave this evening?
Well, I think that was a really great show. I think having the women of the cigar industry on your show, on social media, is I think that's an important representation. And they said it too. They want to be out there. They want, people talking with them, knowing, hey, we know stuff too. We do stuff too. We know the industry, and they learn from one another. They are part of the cigar family. And I think it's great to put it out there. I know, I'm not very active with you guys and the cigar stuff, and I don't smoke, but every time I show up somewhere, people genuinely make me feel very welcome, and I appreciate that. And I'm sure, they appreciate that as well. And just acknowledging, hey, we're here, we're a part of the family is cool. And I still have that sound. We're family, we're like the mob thing. But that's the way it is. I think it's cool.
Luckily, the show didn't go too far off the rails.
Is that what you're thankful for?
There were, I'm really thankful for that. There were a couple times where I was figuring to pull myself off screen and mute it so I can say, chill out. But I just keep envisioning next week when I'm back on this side on myself over here,
sitting over here breathing on your arm. I appreciate you and your dad letting me come on and be a part of it, and because
it wouldn't make sense, in my opinion, because you are somebody who comes on every once in a while, and you've gone to events with us. You went to Vegas last year. You went to the Florida Barn Smoker last year. You went to a couple events the year before. And you're somebody who pops up. You're like that bone spur in your heel when you step the wrong way. It's like, oh God, that thing's still there, isn't it? So, to me, it didn't make sense to have on the Dunbarton ladies and not have you on as well. So I'm thankful that you were able to partake and hang out and
I appreciate
deal
you.
with the cigar smoke going past you. Even though Dad did cut the fans on up in the roof, and now all the heat has gone out of here.
I saw
I'm
you
in-
shivering a couple of times.
I'm in shorts and a t-shirt in
I
here.
wanted to hug you and warm you
All right,
up.
guys. Thank you all for hanging out with us this week. We'll keep it short and sweet with the exits. Thank you to Chief Talk's sponsors, Drew Estate and Zycar. Remember, go to zycar.com, use code Chief Talk, all one words, in capitals, for 15% off your checkout order. And we look forward to having you guys and gals hang out with us next week. Catch you later. Yeah, time to relax. Whew. Man, I'm beat. Whew. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Show's over. Go home. Go home. Show's over. What are you waiting for? You waiting for another show? This is a one-ticket entry. Go. Bye. Go. Go. Go.